Dana White trashes Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather and the current state of boxing. So Uncle Dana was just recently on a podcast and he was asked specifically by the Nelk boys what he thought of this Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul exhibition that's supposed to go down on the 20th of February. Of course, when you got Uncle Dana on the show, man, you got to ask him stuff about the fight game, especially the hot topics. And this is a hot topic. And before I tell you what Dana said, I want to preface this by giving you my opinion on Dana White. Dana White, in my opinion, the best promoter on this planet we call Earth. Nobody has done that much for their sport in that amount of time. I mean, the guy is an absolutely brilliant businessman, whether you like him or not. Again, nobody has done that in that amount of time with any combat sport. And he's gotten to the point where he's running laps around boxing, which contains its own, numerous promoters that he's running laps around. And he's made it so that, in my opinion and the opinion of many, MMA has already surpassed boxing. So Dana White is a guy who's been there and done that and has credibility. And in a society where everybody's opinion and feelings count, real men know that the real opinions that matter are the guys that have done it, the guys with credibility. And I don't think anyone has more credibility than Dana White when it comes to fight promoting. And I say that objectively and as a promoter and everything else. So they asked him what he thought of the fight, and he said, when people ask me what's the state of boxing right now, that's where it's at. He then followed up with, and he was referring to Logan Paul, didn't that kid get beat up by the expletive video game kid from England, and now he's going to fight Floyd Mayweather? Look, there's two very polarizing sides to this entire topic. Okay, you've got a ton of people on one side that say that, hey, these guys are bringing attention to the sport. Let them keep doing it. It's good for the sport. And then you've got the other side who have a great point as well, that are saying that this is cheapening the sport. This is tarnishing the sport. You've got people that have dedicated their entire lives to this sport that aren't getting the opportunities that some pop culture, that some pop culture icons on YouTube are getting. How is that fair? And how does that help the integrity of the sport? It doesn't. It destroys it. So I understand both sides of the argument. And I hear 100% what Dana White is saying, and he's right. He's right to a certain extent. Boxing, and I've preached it 1,000 times on this channel, has historically been a going out of sale pitch, right? I mean, and Dana White's called it that in the past. These promoters, they put these fights together. They try to get as many people to come out as possible. But there's no investment, right? There's no investment in the future of the sport. There's no investment in the next events. It's almost like just focus on this event. We're not trying to invest in getting you to tune in for the long term. It's all about this event. And I look at combat sports the same way Dana White does. I look at it, and as I continue to build FightersRep, I look at it through this lens. I look at it as, yeah, I'm going to put on a fight and I want as many people to turn up as possible, but I also want you to emotionally invest in the fighter, and I want you to do that through interviews, through documentaries, through everything else that I can do to put that fighter out there and the storyline out there for you so that you want to tune in the long run, not just in the short term. And I think that's the difference between MMA and boxing. And I think Dana White sees it that way. I certainly do. And I think he's telling you that, look, they're doing it again. They're looking at the short term. Let's just put Logan Paul on a card with Floyd Mayweather, a guy who entirely doesn't deserve to be in the boxing ring with Floyd Mayweather. This can all be reconciled, in my opinion, and I've said it over and over again, if we were to use the gimmicky fights to leverage the young talent coming up or the talent that's already there, and to get them the viewership that they deserve, right? Let's leverage these gimmicky fights and let's fill the undercard with upcoming talent and current talent that doesn't get the rightful attention and credit and money that they deserve. That's the only way you're going to reconcile the two parts, the two different sides of this argument. And if you don't fill that undercard with talent, and they didn't really do a good job of it in the Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson fight. If you don't complement that main event with some young talent, deserving young talent, and you're chasing away the hardcore boxing fans, you're only bringing in the casual fans for the near future, for the short term. And you haven't really, in my opinion, invested in the sport. Again, the only way for me to reconcile the two is to load up that undercard with young talent. My question for you guys, what do you feel about the Floyd Mayweather-Logan Paul fight? And what ways are there to make the entire event more legitimate in your view? Hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Also smash that like button. Join Knucklehead Nation. Get your Fighters Rep gear in the links below. By doing so, you'll help me build this channel and also the only kickboxing promotion that matters. Get your Fighters Rep shirt, hoodie, tank top, or mask. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about this one.